But she was an advocate for it. She was um, she went down in the history books really, as one that was before her time, because at this time Christianity was very prevalent on all of the people. So things had changed. All Hawaiian practices had changed. A lot of speaking Hawaiian was banned. She was the alii, they couldn't control her, so she did what she wanted to. When people passed away, you had a certain mourning period, and you would take away the body. It's happened today actually. Somebody in our family passed. The mortuary was there fighting us to take away the body, or like it just happened. Let us escape for a little longer. Keili Kolani was something when somebody in her family had passed, she kept it for weeks. She was like, no, there's ceremonies that have to be done. All these things have to be chanted. Genealogy has to be recited. All of this has to be done. And people thought, what? Like, because Christianity was prevalent on all of the people at the time. She said, oh, you don't tell me. I own all of this. I live in a grass house because I like it, and I have the house. But so it's good. I feel honored that we have a palace that sort of represents a woman of that sort of power. A wahine that was very big, very unique, but she had that sort of power. There's many famous stories about her, and the one that I think about a lot is the story of when she stopped the lava flow. You may have heard this story. It was famous in all the newspapers at the time, and I think it was in 1860s or 1870s, 1881, 1882. I think it just came out somewhere over there. So the lava was coming in Hilo, and it started heading towards Hilo town. It started being this uli and was coming down Kaumana, and it was heading towards Hilo town, and all the Hilo people started freaking out. Like, we had done something to anger our kupuna, the goddess Pele, that the lava's coming for all of us here. So they said, we need divine help. Find somebody to help us. So Keili Kolani came. She was like, I'm coming. So she came there to Hilo. And there's amazing stories about, she was a really big lady, about how they put her on this carriage and they were taking her up to the lava flow, and how the carriage broke, and the people, what she was doing, she was very big, and how it broke, and then all the families came and they picked up the carriage and was carrying her, carriage and all, they just carried her and they made sure she made it to the flow. So she gets to the top of the flow, and she takes out the finest silk handkerchiefs that she went and had made for her ancestor Pele. So she takes out the handkerchiefs and she sort of lays them as a whole kuku, and she's speaking in Hawaiian, telling her kuku that she's chanting, telling her that these are the gifts that I brought for you. She brought other things. And then she lays down on the road and goes to sleep. And so they're like, I hope she can move fast and fill out, at least that's what I would have been thinking. Well, the lava came right up to her and stopped. And everything stopped. It didn't pass her. And it all just ended. All the flow ended. And so it was that sort of mana that she had, that she could just stop the flow of lava as she just went to sleep on the road. I mean, you have to really believe that you could do it. If you was going to go into a slumber, I mean, just the cookies outside keep you awake. They never have them up there, but, So to be able to lay on the road and have that belief that my ancestor is this fire goddess and she's not going to kill me, I'm her mo'opuna, I'm her grandchild. She's going to hear my kahea to her, and she's going to stop. And so many, many chants were composed because of what she had done to save Hilo and all the people there. And that brings me to this. Welcome back. As I'm talking about names and how important they are, my cousin's name is Stallone. My uncle was, his favorite movie actor was Sylvester Stallone. So he would have been either Sylvester or Stallone. So good thing that's Stallone. Yeah, Rocky. Okay, this mele it's one stanza out of I think 12, and it's called Akala Iawi Pulihe'e, and it's about this nature, and for Keili Kolani. And I forgot the words, so I might be reading it out from the first part. Any questions? Any clarifications? Did I lead you astray and you don't know what the hell just happened? Any kind of questions about anything that you need to ask me? I'm here. You may never see me again, but my schedules are always so busy. So
Some of your chanting, the words sounded more Tahitian than.
So your question is, you heard T's in my chanting. So, and the most common thing is everybody thinks it went to Tahiti, but actually the old language had more of T's, sort of L's and R's rolling together. It sounded more like how you would hear in the Pacific. That's the old original Hawaiian language. And so when the missionaries came, things started to standardize as K's and L's. So if you look at the first voyagers and first voyagers meaning the Haole or the foreigners that came, they wrote down Kamehameha as when they heard it. They wrote down Oahi, and that's how they heard Hawaii. You know, so you see it in their first writings. If you see one of the oldest, the first time they ever wrote Liho Liho, they actually wrote Riho Riho with an R. So you see that the language was actually a little bit more Pacific. So same language, but it sounded more like Nihao. So if you listen to a Nihao speak, there's a certain kind of dialect that they speak where the first K is a K and the second one is T. So they say hele kahatai instead of kahatai. They don't just T everything. They say kahatai like that. So certain ones change. Kahataha, you know, it's a little older. And then, when the missionaries came, they actually were the ones who taught us how to take all of our phonetics and create a written language. Because it was oral, it was only spoken. So they taught us, if this sounds like this, so it sort of standardized things. This is a good one too. My grandmother, they were from Molokai. And so, and that family from Molokai, they spoke with G's. So my grandmother always said Molokai, like that. But instead of Molokai, they said Molokai. Like, and so when they chanted, they said Alaga no haga e no hege okamoa naga alaga haga. they had all these sort of old style, and people was like, the old timers was like, oh, so oh no, that's the old style, and the new people was like, okay, it's start Micronesian. Like, I don't know that language, you know, they don't know, so it's because they didn't come from the old style, you know. So people in Lanai, they have a tendency to say na-nai, yeah, instead of la-nai with the L. A lot of interchanging between L's and N's, and they said na-nai, or instead of calling the American Unu, they said Unu. Yeah, so there was an interchange with old language. Then what made it worse? The university. So the university came and they was like, they had to give you A, B, C, D, E, or F. And so when you wrote down Kahatai, they're like, no, F. So they're like, it has to be Kaha, and it has to be Hawaii. Like you can't say Hawaii, it has to be Hawaii. So it became like this full standard. And it sort of confused everybody. The people that came that never knew nothing about it before, it was easy. They learned it. I knew so many people that came from Alabama, they came, learned the language, learned it. Oh yeah, they just had to learn the vocab. But the Hawaiians, they were all confused because the language was taken away from us. It was banned at one point in time. We couldn't speak it. We went to jail if we spoke it. And so it was taken away from the family. So they heard it a certain way, and now we're going into university system, and it's taught a different way. My grandmother used to say, when my sister would talk to her, she would say it in Hawaiian, she'd say, stop, my ear is sore. Stop talking to me. She'd say in English, stop talking to me, my ear is sore. And my sister would say, oh, why is your ear always sore? Every time I talk to her, she gets sore ear. I'm like, it's because of the tea coming out of your mouth. I'm like, because her language is very like Westernly put. Yeah, you know, it's a big thing we lost in our language is our intonation. So, Hawaiian was, the intonations in Hawaiian was very, very sort of, it was sort of melodic in things that moved up and down. So you say, I'm going to the store. In Hawaiian you would say, "E hele ana au I ka hale kuai." So it just sounds just like English. I'm going to the store. "E hele ana au I ka hale kuai." In Hawaiian, with the intonations, it should sound more like you'd say like there's a whole like thing that's happening. It's like when you speak to a Chinese who speaks English, they're like, oh hi, my name is Chad, and they look at their mouth and go, oh hi, I have a good day to you. You know, like there's the intonations are different when they're speaking the language. So that's what we're missing in Hawaii. We didn't get the intonations back. We learned the language. So now you hear people speaking this. They're speaking like they're talking in English, but with different language. They're missing the intonations up and down. And so the old timers who know the intonations go, it's kind of weird. You know? They say this in Hawaiian, oh, anange kaolelo. Yeah, they say, but what they're saying in English is, it's kind of weird to hear Hawaiian like that. So they call it, that's the university style. It's the same language, you're missing yeah. So originally, we didn't write the Okina because we understood where it was. And in the context of the words, if you saw it, you read it, in the context we understood where the Okina and the Kahako went. And we understood what it meant. If you said it in this sense, it didn't mean cow if I was talking about the ocean before. It meant maybe wave. You know, like, you knew by the context of what was being said, the definition. So, the foreigners that came in the Malakini, they didn't know. So they had to go and put things so that they understood for them what it really meant. Yeah. That was a long answer, sorry. It was a whole not a 1 hour answer. Yeah.
I want to add something I learned from my parents. But when the missionaries decided that they wanted to teach the Hawaiians the written language, they eliminated every consonant you could put. That's where the T and the H and the G went, because you can speak the language without those, but like you say, you lost the entire information.
Yeah.
So it wasn't able to.
And you know what? And that's the beauty of it. It's like having a mixed plate, and you get all different flavors on it. And so the beauty of it is that you, like we say on this island, hauke uke, and that's the sea urchin. I thought about it because this hala is blooming, and one of the old sayings is when the hala blooms, the hauke uke is ready to be harvested. But we say hauke uke. On Kauai they say hauke ue. You know, and on the Ihau they say haue ue. So like when they standardized it, like you said, we lost all of the little special pieces that would have made a great mixed plate. We lost all of those things and it all became very standard that you only have this.
So the question I have is, could we go back now that we're getting on?
I think we're there. I
Yeah.
think we're getting there. Like I think now with people there's so we went from at one time almost just 50 speakers left. The language went to almost extinction. Now there's like 30,000 speakers that's back thanks to the college, the university really, and them and all the Pukunas back then that created all the language programs way back. So now we're starting to sound like I don't know, a mess. At first it was like we want to hear Hawaiian, so now we hear Hawaiian, we're hearing it. Now we're like, it doesn't sound like it's supposed to. So now you can start to hear it more have intonations. I think it's starting to build now. I hear people laughing while they're talking, and so it sort of creates intonations and people understand. It's like how we start like laughing when I ran to the I finally made it. You still understand what I'm saying while I'm doing this in Hawaiian. People was making sure they got the structure right. Hele, bao, hale, aloha, malama. You know, they're trying to get it all in the structure. So now that it's more fluent and we understand it more, now it's starting to get intonated. It's starting to happen now. And I feel like it will. And then by the next generation, we'll start hearing them sound like how our grandparents or great-great-grandparents sounded. Hopefully. At least the ones in my family will be. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, mahalo, mahalo.